Have you ever had the unsettling feeling that someone or something is watching you not physically, but spiritually? It's as if an invisible force lingers, waiting to pounce on your missteps, feeding on your fears and doubts. It's not paranoia, it's something deeper, something spiritual. These are monitoring spirits, forces of negativity, failure, and hopelessness that lurk in the shadows of your life. They are not here to guide or help, they exist to keep you bound, to weigh you down, and to ensure that you never rise to your full potential. They thrive on your insecurities, your regrets, and your silence. But today, I'm here to tell you that they do not have the final word. You do. Imagine this: you're walking through a dense forest. The trees are tall, their shadows long, and the air is thick with a heavy stillness. You can't see them, but you can feel eyes watching you. Every step you take feels heavier, every sound amplified. That's how these spirits operate. They follow you, silent but present, waiting for a moment of weakness. They remind you of your past failures, whisper doubts into your dreams, and magnify every fear until it becomes unbearable. But what if I told you that you have the power to walk out of that forest, to leave those spirits behind forever? You see, these monitoring spirits are powerless on their own. They feed off your agreement with their lies. Every time you accept the thought that you're not good enough, every time you replay a failure in your mind, every time you let fear dictate your decisions, you give them strength. But the moment you stand up and declare the truth, their hold on you begins to crumble. Words are your most powerful weapon. Spoken with conviction, they can cut through lies, dismantle fear, and scatter every shadow that seeks to bind you. Think of a small flame in a dark room. The darkness is vast, pressing in from every side, but that single flame pushes it back. Your words are like that flame. They don't need to be loud or elaborate, they simply need to be true and consistent. When you speak words of truth over your life, you light a fire that no darkness can extinguish. And the brighter your light, the farther the darkness retreats. But let's not underestimate these forces. Monitoring spirits don't give up easily. They know your weaknesses, your patterns, your triggers. They exploit every moment of doubt and hesitation. They're like predators stalking their prey. But here's the thing: you're not their prey. You were never meant to live under their oppression. You were created to rise, to thrive, and to walk in freedom. The power to break their grip has always been within you. It lies in the truth you choose to declare. This is not just about speaking positive affirmations or feel-good statements. This is about declaring eternal truths that align with the power of the Creator who made you. These truths are not just words, they are spiritual weapons, forged to break chains and scatter the enemy. And today, I'm going to share with you 5 such declarations. When you speak these 5 statements with authority, all monitoring spirits will have no choice but to leave you alone forever. Let me ask you this: are you tired of feeling weighed down by invisible burdens? Are you ready to step into a life of peace, freedom, and purpose? If your answer is yes, then lean in. Pay attention. Because what I'm about to share could change the way you live, the way you think, and the way you fight your battles. These 5 statements are more than just words. They are keys to unlock doors you thought were permanently closed. They are shields against every attack and swords to cut through every lie. When you speak them, you are not just defending yourself, you are reclaiming your rightful place as a victor, not a victim. So prepare yourself, take a deep breath, stand tall, and get ready to declare your freedom. The time has come to silence every voice of fear and doubt. It's time to take back your life. 1. I am not defined by my past. Your past is like a shadow. It follows you, clings to you, and at times it feels as though it's impossible to outrun. It whispers in your ear, reminding you of every mistake, every failure, every moment you fell short. Monitoring spirits thrive on this shadow, feeding off your regrets, amplifying your sense of inadequacy, and holding you captive in a story you've long outgrown. But the truth is, your past does not define you. It is part of your journey, not your identity. And when you declare, I am not defined by my past. You break the chains that tie you to what was and step boldly into what can be. Think of a sculptor working on a block of marble. At first glance, the marble appears rough, unshaped, and without purpose. But with every strike of the chisel, the sculptor reveals something beautiful, something intentional. Your past, no matter how rough or broken it may seem, is the marble. It may have shaped you, but it does not dictate what you are becoming. Monitoring spirits want you to believe that the cracks and flaws in your life are permanent, that they disqualify you from greatness. But when you proclaim that you are not defined by your past, you declare that those cracks are part of a larger masterpiece in progress. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with rocks. Each rock represents a mistake, a regret, or a painful memory from your past. The longer you carry it, the heavier it becomes. It slows you down, drains your energy, and makes every step forward feel like a struggle. Monitoring spirits want you to keep carrying that backpack because they know it keeps you from moving freely. But the moment you declare, "I am not defined by my past," you take off that backpack and leave it behind. Suddenly you're lighter, you can move faster, think clearer, and dream bigger. Your past is a chapter, not the whole book. Too often, people allow one chapter of failure or pain to define their entire story. They replay the moments when they fell short, as if those moments are the only ones that matter. Monitoring spirits thrive in this replay loop, convincing you that you're stuck in a cycle you can't escape. But the truth is, you are the author of your story. When you speak the words, "I am not defined by my past," you take back the pen. You acknowledge the chapter, but you don't let it dictate the rest of the narrative. Think about a seed buried in the soil. To an outsider, it might look like the seed is trapped, buried, and forgotten. But beneath the surface, transformation is happening. The seed is breaking apart, roots are forming, and soon new life will emerge. Your past is the soil. It may feel like a burial, but in reality it's preparation. Monitoring spirits want you to believe that you're stuck in the dirt, but when you declare, "I am not defined by my past," you recognize that the dirt is where growth begins. Monitoring spirits use your past like a mirror, reflecting only your flaws and failures back at you. They want you to see nothing but mistakes, to convince you that your worth is tied to what you've done rather than who you are. But a mirror only shows part of the picture. It cannot reflect the depth of your potential. When you declare that you are not defined by your past, you shatter that mirror. You stop seeing yourself through the lens of your mistakes and start seeing yourself as you truly are capable, resilient, and worthy of a brighter future. Picture a prisoner who has served their time but continues to live as if they're still behind bars. The cell door is open, but they're too conditioned by their past to walk out. Monitoring spirits work the same way. They keep you mentally locked in a prison you've already been freed from. Declaring, "I am not defined by my past," is the act of stepping through that open door. It's the realization that you're not held back by what you've done, but by the belief that it still has power over you. Your past is a teacher, not a judge. Its role is to educate, not condemn. Monitoring spirits twist this truth, turning every lesson into a verdict of guilt or shame. But when you declare that you are not defined by your past, you reclaim the narrative. You turn every failure into a stepping stone, every mistake into a lesson, and every setback into a setup for a comeback. You acknowledge the past, but you refuse to let it dictate your future. The power of declaring, "I am not defined by my past," lies in its ability to shift your focus. Monitoring spirits want you to look backward, to keep your eyes fixed on what went wrong. But this declaration turns your gaze forward. It reminds you that while you cannot change the past, you can choose how it shapes you. It reminds you that every day is a new opportunity to write a different story, to choose a different path, and to become a better version of yourself. When you speak these words, you don't just silence the voices of doubt, you awaken the voice of hope within you. 2. I am forgiven and free. Forgiveness is a powerful force. one that has the ability to transform lives and break chains that have held people captive for years. Yet, it is often one of the most difficult truths to accept. Monitoring spirits know this, and they thrive on the weight of guilt and shame. They whisper constantly, reminding you of every wrong decision, every hurt you caused, and every moment of weakness. They make you believe that your mistakes are too big to forgive, that your guilt is a life sentence. But when you declare, "I am forgiven and free," you unlock the doors of that prison and walk out into the light. Think of forgiveness as a key that unlocks a heavy door. Behind that door is your freedom, your peace, and your future. But as long as you refuse to accept forgiveness, whether from God, others, or yourself, that door remains shut. Monitoring spirits stand guard at this door, making sure you stay trapped in the room of your mistakes. They tell you that the key doesn't exist or that you're unworthy to use it. But the truth is, the key has always been in your hand. Declaring, "I am forgiven and free," is the act of turning the key and refusing to stay locked in a room that no longer serves you. Imagine carrying a glass of water around all day. At first, it seems light, easy to hold. But as the hours pass, your arm begins to ache, your grip weakens, and the glass feels heavier than ever. This is what unaddressed guilt feels like. The longer you carry it, the heavier it becomes. Monitoring spirits want you to hold onto that glass forever, to believe that you deserve the pain it causes. But when you say, "I am forgiven and free," you put the glass down. You release the weight, and in doing so, you regain your strength. Forgiveness is not just about letting go of what you've done, it's also about breaking free from what's been done to you. Monitoring spirits often use the wounds inflicted by others to chain you to bitterness and resentment. They whisper, "You can't forgive them. If you do, they'll win." You'll look weak, but the truth is, forgiveness is not about weakness, it's about freedom. When you declare, "I am forgiven and free," you cut the cord that ties you to the pain others have caused. You step out of the cycle of anger and into a space of peace. Picture a bird trapped in a cage. The cage door is open, but the bird doesn't fly out because it's forgotten what freedom feels like. This is how many of us live when we refuse to accept forgiveness. Monitoring spirits convince us that we're still caged, that we don't deserve the freedom waiting on the other side. But the moment you proclaim, "I am forgiven and free," you spread your wings and remember what it feels like to soar. You refuse to let the bars of shame and guilt define your existence. The most powerful aspect of forgiveness is that it's a gift, not something you earn. Monitoring spirits want you to believe that you have to work for it, to strive endlessly to prove that you're worthy. They set impossible standards, ensuring that you always feel like you're falling short. But forgiveness was never meant to be a reward for perfection, it's a grace extended to the imperfect. When you declare, "I am forgiven and free," you accept this gift, not because you've earned it, but because you've chosen to receive it. Consider the ocean. No matter how many impurities flow into it, the ocean has a way of cleansing itself, of maintaining its vast and powerful beauty. Forgiveness works the same way. It washes over you, cleansing you of guilt and shame, and leaving you renewed. Monitoring spirits want to block that flow, to make you feel unworthy of such cleansing. But when you declare, "I am forgiven and free," you let the waters of grace wash over you, carrying away everything that has held you back. Forgiveness is not a one-time event, it's a daily choice. Monitoring spirits know this, and they will try to bring back the same feelings of guilt and shame over and over again. They will replay your mistakes like a broken record, hoping to drag you back into the darkness you've left behind. But when you consistently declare, "I am forgiven and free," you remind them and yourself that the record has been broken. The mistakes of yesterday have no power over the potential of today. When you proclaim your forgiveness, you're not just releasing yourself from guilt, you're also rejecting the lie that you're unworthy of love, peace, or a fresh start. Monitoring spirits use guilt as a weapon to keep you small, to make you feel like you don't deserve a life of joy and purpose. But declaring, "I am forgiven and free," disarms them completely. It's a statement of worth, a declaration that you are not defined by what you've done, but by who you are becoming. This truth, "I am forgiven and free," is more than just a statement, it's a battle cry. It's a refusal to let guilt and shame dictate your story. It's the act of stepping out of the shadows and into the light, of embracing the freedom that has always been yours to claim. With every repetition of these words, you strip away the power that monitoring spirits once held over you, replacing it with a peace and freedom they can never take away. 3. My worth is not determined by others. For too long, people have let their self-worth be dictated by the opinions, judgments, and expectations of others. It starts subtly, a passing comment, a raised eyebrow, or a dismissive remark. Slowly, these external voices begin to shape how you see yourself. Monitoring spirits thrive in this environment, using the words and actions of others to sow seeds of doubt and insecurity within you. They want you to question your value, to tie your worth to how others perceive you. But the moment you declare, "My worth is not determined by others," you take back control. You reclaim the power to define who you are and who you will become. Imagine a precious diamond buried deep in the earth. For years it remains unseen, unvalued, and unnoticed. But its worth has never depended on being discovered or admired. It has always been priceless. Your worth is like that diamond. It is inherent, unchanging, and not subject to the opinions of others. Monitoring spirits want you to believe otherwise. They use rejection, criticism, and even indifference to make you feel small. But when you proclaim, "My worth is not determined by others," you remind yourself that your value was established long before anyone else's opinion ever existed. Think of a lighthouse standing tall against a raging storm. The waves crash against it, the winds howl, and the sky darkens. But the lighthouse remains steadfast, its light unwavering. Your worth is like that lighthouse. The opinions and judgments of others may rage around you, but they do not diminish your light. Monitoring spirits want to convince you that the storm is stronger than the lighthouse, that the negativity of others can extinguish your inner glow. But when you declare, "My worth is not determined by others," you anchor yourself in the truth that your light shines from within and cannot be dimmed by external forces. Consider the way society often places value on superficial markers: wealth, appearance, popularity, or achievements. Monitoring spirits leverage these societal pressures to make you feel like you're never enough, like you're always falling short. They want you to measure yourself against others, to constantly compare and compete. But when you declare, "My worth is not determined by others," you step off the exhausting treadmill of comparison. You recognize that your value is not something to be earned or proven, it is already yours. Imagine carrying around a mirror that reflects only what others see. Each person who looks at you leaves a mark on that mirror, a judgment, a critique, a fleeting opinion. Over time, the mirror becomes so covered in smudges and scratches that you can't even see yourself clearly. Monitoring spirits want you to hold onto that mirror forever, to believe that the distorted reflections of others are the truth about who you are. But when you declare, "My worth is not determined by others," you shatter that mirror. You stop looking to others for validation and start seeing yourself through a clearer, truer lens. Your worth is not transactional. It doesn't increase when people praise you or decrease when they criticize you. Monitoring spirits try to convince you otherwise, using moments of rejection or failure to erode your confidence. They whisper lies like, "You're only as good as your last success," or "If they don't like you, you must not be worth much." But when you proclaim, "My worth is not determined by others," you reject this false narrative. You affirm that your value is constant, unshaken by the fleeting opinions of the world around you. Think about a tree planted by a river. It doesn't rely on the weather for its survival because its roots draw sustenance directly from the water. Even in times of drought, the tree remains strong and vibrant because it is connected to a deeper source. Your worth is like that tree. It doesn't depend on the approval or validation of others. It comes from something much deeper. Monitoring spirits want to sever your roots to make you believe that your worth is dependent on external conditions. But when you declare, "My worth is not determined by others," you deepen your roots and draw strength from an unshakable source. When you allow others to determine your worth, you give away your power. You become like a leaf blown by the wind, tossed in every direction by the changing tides of opinion. Monitoring spirits revel in this instability, using it to keep you off balance and unsure of yourself. But when you proclaim, "My worth is not determined by others," you become the wind, not the leaf. You take control of your direction, moving with purpose and confidence, no matter what storms may come. One of the most dangerous traps monitoring spirits set is the illusion that you need to please everyone to be valuable. They make you feel like you must constantly prove your worth through accomplishments, appearances, or relationships. But the truth is, you can never please everyone, and your value was never meant to be tied to their approval. Declaring, "My worth is not determined by others," frees you from this endless cycle. It allows you to live authentically, to pursue your purpose without the weight of others' expectations. Ultimately, your worth is rooted in something far greater than the opinions of others. It is intrinsic, unchanging, and divinely ordained. Monitoring spirits may try to obscure this truth, but they cannot erase it. When you declare, "My worth is not determined by others," you affirm that your value comes from within, from the Creator who made you and the purpose for which you were designed. You remind yourself that no opinion, no rejection, and no criticism can take away what has always been yours. 4. I choose faith over fear. Fear is one of the most powerful tools monitoring spirits use to control and paralyze you. It's subtle, creeping into your thoughts and whispering, "What if you fail? What if you're not good enough? What if everything falls apart?" Fear feeds on uncertainty and thrives in the unknown, making you hesitate, second-guess, and retreat. It magnifies the challenges ahead while minimizing your ability to overcome them. But when you declare, "I choose faith over fear," you shift the balance. You declare war on the lies of fear and choose to step into the light of trust, courage, and purpose. Think of fear as a fog that settles over your path. It obscures your vision, making every step forward seem risky or impossible. Monitoring spirits use this fog to trap you, to make you believe that moving forward is dangerous. But faith is like the sun breaking through the fog. It doesn't necessarily reveal the entire journey ahead, but it provides enough clarity for your next step. When you say, "I choose faith over fear," you remind yourself that you don't need to see the whole path to keep moving forward. You only need to trust that the next step is solid. Fear often disguises itself as caution or practicality. It tells you to play it safe, to stay within your comfort zone, to avoid risks. Monitoring spirits use this disguise to keep you from pursuing your dreams or stepping into your purpose. They whisper, "It's better to stay where you are. At least you know what to expect." But faith is the antidote to this lie. Faith says, "Step out, trust the process, believe in the unseen." When you declare, "I choose faith over fear," you strip fear of its disguise and reclaim the boldness to move forward. Imagine a tightrope stretched across a vast canyon. Fear tells you to stay on the edge, to avoid the risk of falling. But faith is the courage to take the first step, knowing that the rope is strong and that you are capable of reaching the other side. Monitoring spirits want you to stay stuck on the edge of your potential, to never take that first step. But when you proclaim, "I choose faith over fear," you silence their lies. You trust in the strength of the rope, in your ability to balance, and in the purpose waiting for you on the other side. Fear thrives on the illusion of control. It makes you believe that unless you have all the answers and a guaranteed outcome, you shouldn't act. Monitoring spirits amplify this illusion, keeping you trapped in a cycle of overthinking and hesitation. But faith is the recognition that you don't need to control everything to move forward. Faith says, "Let go of the need to know every detail. Trust that you are being guided." Declaring, "I choose faith over fear," breaks the illusion of control and allows you to surrender to the flow of life. Think about a child learning to swim. At first, they cling tightly to the edge of the pool, afraid to let go. Fear tells them they'll sink, that they're not strong enough to stay afloat. But the moment they let go and trust the water to hold them, they discover their strength. Faith works the same way. It requires you to let go of the edge, to trust that you are equipped to handle whatever comes. Monitoring spirits want you to cling to the edge forever. But when you declare, "I choose faith over fear," you let go and begin to swim. Fear has a way of shrinking your world. It makes everything seem smaller: your dreams, your possibilities, your potential. Monitoring spirits use fear to keep you confined, to make you believe that stepping out will lead to disaster. But faith expands your world. It opens doors, creates opportunities, and makes the impossible possible. When you proclaim, "I choose faith over fear," you break through the walls fear has built around you. You step into a world of endless potential, where challenges become opportunities and setbacks become stepping stones. One of the most deceptive lies of fear is that it's protecting you. It tells you that avoiding risks and staying in your comfort zone will keep you safe. But safety is not the same as growth, and fear's protection often comes at the cost of your dreams. Faith, on the other hand, pushes you to grow. It challenges you to take risks, to step into the unknown, and to trust that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. When you declare, "I choose faith over fear," you reject the false security of fear and embrace the growth that comes with faith. Fear thrives in isolation. It makes you feel like you're the only one struggling, the only one facing uncertainty. Monitoring spirits use this isolation to make you feel weak and alone. But faith connects you to something greater than yourself. It reminds you that you are never truly alone, that there is a higher power guiding you and a purpose driving you. When you say, "I choose faith over fear," you step out of isolation and into connection. You draw strength from knowing that you are part of something bigger. Faith doesn't mean the absence of fear, it means choosing to move forward despite it. Monitoring spirits want you to believe that you can't act until the fear is gone. But that's a lie. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's the decision to act in its presence. When you declare, "I choose faith over fear," you acknowledge the fear but refuse to let it dictate your actions. You choose to trust in your strength, your purpose, and the path ahead, no matter how uncertain it may seem. 5. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. This is not just a statement, it's a declaration of spiritual warfare, a banner of confidence in the face of adversity. When you declare, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper," you proclaim that while challenges may arise, they will not prevail. Monitoring spirits want you to believe that every obstacle, every attack, and every hardship is designed to destroy you. They thrive on your doubt and despair, making you question whether you have the strength to overcome. But this declaration is a reminder that nothing, absolutely nothing, can defeat you when you are anchored truth, purpose, and divine protection. Imagine a warrior on a battlefield. The enemy surrounds them, armed with weapons, strategies, and overwhelming numbers. At first glance, it seems hopeless, but the warrior is not fighting alone. They are shielded, empowered, and protected by a force far greater than the enemy could ever comprehend. This is the power of your declaration. When you say, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper," you remind yourself and every monitoring spirit that you are not alone, that you are divinely equipped for every battle. Weapons come in many forms. They might look like criticism, betrayal, or rejection. Sometimes they take the shape of self-doubt, fear, or unexpected setbacks. Monitoring spirits forge these weapons, tailoring them to strike at your vulnerabilities. But declaring, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper," disarms them. It doesn't mean the weapons won't exist, it means they won't succeed. They might be aimed at you, but they will not hit their mark. Their power is nullified the moment you stand in this truth. Think of a castle surrounded by a strong wall. The enemy may fire arrows, but the wall absorbs the impact, leaving those inside unharmed. Your declaration is like that wall, a shield that deflects every attack. Monitoring spirits want you to believe that the arrows of life, pain, failure, rejection can penetrate your defenses. But when you proclaim, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper," you fortify yourself. You stand tall, knowing that while the battle may rage, the outcome has already been decided in your favor. Consider the way storms batter a tree. The wind howls, the rain pours, and the branches sway violently, but the tree remains rooted, unyielding. The storm may strip it of its leaves, but it cannot uproot its foundation. This is the essence of your declaration. Life's storms may come, and the weapons of monitoring spirits may seem relentless, but they cannot uproot you. Your roots are too deep, too strong. When you say, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper," you affirm your resilience and your ability to withstand any storm. Monitoring spirits use the appearance of weapons to intimidate you, to make you feel small and powerless. They amplify the sound of the enemy's march, magnify the size of the weapons, and create an illusion of impending defeat. But when you declare, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper," you see through the illusion. You recognize that the weapons are powerless without your fear to fuel them. You strip away their facade, exposing their emptiness. Imagine a ship sailing through rough waters. The waves crash against it. The winds threaten to tip it over, but the ship presses on, guided by its captain and protected by its design. Your life is like that ship. Monitoring spirits want you to believe that the waves and winds will destroy you, that the weapons of adversity are too strong. But declaring, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper," is your anchor. It grounds you, reminding you that the ship was built to weather the storm and reach its destination. One of the most deceptive lies monitoring spirits tell is that the presence of weapons means defeat is inevitable. They point to the challenges in your life, the setbacks, the struggles, the conflicts, and say, "See, you're already losing." But this declaration is a bold rejection of that lie. It acknowledges the weapons but denies them victory. It reminds you that while adversity may come, it is temporary, and it cannot derail your ultimate purpose. Weapons may test your patience, your strength, and your resolve, but they also refine you. Just as fire purifies gold, the challenges you face can shape you into a stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of yourself. Monitoring spirits want you to see weapons as threats, but when you declare, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper," you see them as tools for growth. You embrace the process, knowing that every test is an opportunity to rise higher. Finally, declaring, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper," is a statement of alignment with divine authority. It is a recognition that your purpose is protected, that the Creator who designed you has already equipped you with everything you need to overcome. Monitoring spirits may form weapons, but they cannot override the power that stands behind you. When you speak these words, you activate that power, creating a shield of faith that no attack can penetrate. You stand as a warrior, undefeated and unshaken, ready to claim the victory that is already yours. As we come to the end of this journey, I want you to pause and reflect on the power you now hold in your hands. The declarations you've spoken today: "I am not defined by my past, I am forgiven and free, my worth is not determined by others, I choose faith over fear, and no weapon formed against me shall prosper," are not just words. They are your armor, your sword, and your shield in the battle against the unseen forces that seek to hold you back. These truths are the keys to breaking free from the chains of fear, guilt, and doubt that have bound, lingered for the doubt that have long. But let me remind you, the power of these declarations doesn't lie in merely knowing them, it lies in living them. Speak them with conviction every day. Write them on your heart and let them guide your actions. When the voices of doubt creep in, shout these truths louder. When fear threatens to paralyze you, let faith push you forward. And when the world tries to tell you that you're not enough, stand firm in the knowledge that your worth is eternal and unshakable. Remember, monitoring spirits may still form weapons against you. Challenges will arise and battles will come, but you are not fighting alone. The power of these declarations connects you to something far greater than yourself. It reminds you that you are divinely protected, deeply loved, and infinitely capable of overcoming anything that comes your way. Today is the beginning of a new chapter. The moment you declared these truths, the chains began to fall, The fog started to lift, and the light within you grew brighter. Carry that light into every corner of your life. Be the warrior who refuses to be defeated. Be the victor who stands tall despite the odds. And most importantly, be the person who inspires others to rise by living as an example of resilience, faith, and strength. Let these declarations not just be words you speak, but truths you embody. Walk boldly in your purpose, knowing that you are equipped, empowered, and unstoppable. Every step you take from this moment forward is a step toward freedom, peace, and fulfillment. You are no longer bound by the lies of the past. You are free to create a future that reflects the limitless potential within you. So as you go forth, remember this. No matter what comes your way, you have the power to rise above it. No force, no weapon, no spirit can hold you back when you are rooted in truth and walking in faith. Stand firm, speak boldly, and live victoriously. The battle has already been won, you just need to claim it. Now, it's your turn. Take these words, take this truth, and carry it into your life. Speak it, believe it, and live it. Let this be the day you look back on as the moment everything changed. You are not defined by your past, you are forgiven and free. Your worth is unshakable, your faith is stronger than fear, and no weapon formed against you shall ever prosper. Go forward in victory, this is your time.